Imagine embarking on the adventure of a lifetime climbing one of the most dangerous and forbidden hikes in the world, only to vanish without a trace. This is the chilling true story of 18-year-old Dallin Pua, whose daring hike up the infamous Stairway to Heaven in Hawaii turned into a haunting mystery that remains unsolved to this day. February 2015. Dallin Pua, a bright and adventurous teenager, traveled to Oahu, Hawaii, to visit his grandmother, Martha. During his visit, he told her about his ambitious plan to hike the legendary and illegal Haiku Stairs, also known as the Stairway to Heaven. With nearly 4,000 steep, narrow steps snaking up the Kola mountain range, this hike had been officially closed since 1980 due to extreme danger. But that didn't stop thrill-seekers like Dallin. His grandmother warned him. She pleaded with him not to go, telling him it was illegal and incredibly risky. But Dallin was determined. The night before his hike, he posted on Facebook, "Stairway to Heaven hike tomorrow. Wish me luck." His friends immediately expressed concern, reminding him that a recent mudslide had damaged part of the stairs, making them even more treacherous. But Dallin wasn't deterred. The next morning, Dallin took a bus to Monolua Valley Park and began his journey. At first, everything seemed fine. He even sent his friends photos of the stunning mountain views. But then silence. The last message from Dallin came at around 11 a.m., a single image. After that, he was never heard from again. At first, his friends thought maybe he had lost signal. But as hours turned to days, worry turned into panic. His family reported him missing, triggering a massive search operation. Helicopters, infrared cameras, K9 units, local volunteers, everyone was looking for Dallin. But the treacherous terrain, made worse by heavy rainfall, made the search nearly impossible. After 4 days, authorities called off the search. But then a chilling twist. 2 hikers on a nearby ridge claimed they heard someone screaming for help. The fire department rushed to the scene, extending the search for 1 more day. Yet, despite their best efforts, Dallin was never found. With no sign of Dallin, theories began to emerge. Did he slip and fall to his death, lost forever in the dense jungle below? Or was there something more sinister at play? That's when people took a closer look at the last photo he sent before disappearing. And what they found sent chills down everyone's spine. Right there, hiding in the bushes, was a figure. A man. Watching. Many dismissed it as an illusion, a trick of the light. But others weren't so sure. The Honolulu police took it seriously enough to issue an alert, asking anyone who recognized the man to come forward. And that's when things got even stranger. Someone on Reddit claimed they knew the man in the picture, insisting he had nothing to do with Dallin's disappearance. But when pressed for proof, they suddenly went silent. Who was this mysterious figure? Could someone have been stalking Dallin, following him up the mountain with sinister intent? Years have passed, but the mystery remains. No body, no clues, no answers. And in 2021, the city of Honolulu decided to remove the stairs completely, spending $2.5 million to demolish the legendary hike once and for all. Some believe this was done to prevent further accidents. Others think it was to erase the ghosts of those who never made it back. We may never know what really happened to Dallin Pua on that fateful day in February 2015. Did he fall? Was he lost? Or was he the victim of something far more chilling? One thing is certain: his story continues to haunt the island, and his disappearance remains one of Hawaii's most baffling mysteries. In Sugar Land, an affluent suburb of Houston, Texas, and one of the safest cities in the U.S. But on the night of December 10, 2003, the peaceful town was rocked by a shocking and brutal crime that no one saw coming. That evening, the Whitaker family, Kent, Tricia, and their 2 sons, Kevin and Thomas, who went by Bart, went out to celebrate Bart's graduation from Sam Houston State University. Over dinner at Papado's Seafood Kitchen, they laughed, joked, and even snapped a family picture, one that would soon take on a chilling significance. As a graduation gift, Bart received a 4,000 Rolex watch from his parents. It seemed like the perfect night for a happy, successful family. But beneath the surface, a sinister plan was already in motion. At around 8 p.m., the Whitakers returned home. As they walked up the steps, Bart stayed behind to grab something from his car while his father, Kent, waited for him. Meanwhile, Kevin, Bart's younger brother, opened the front door and was immediately met with gunfire. A masked man with a gun had been waiting inside the house. Within seconds, he opened fire on the family. Kevin was shot first, collapsing to the ground. Tricia was hit next. Kent was shot in the chest, and Bart, who had conveniently arrived just in time, was struck in the arm. Chaos erupted. A neighbor, hearing the gunshots, called 911, and even though he was injured, Bart himself made a call for help. When emergency responders arrived, they found Kevin dead on the floor. Tricia was airlifted to the hospital, but she did not survive. Miraculously, Kent survived his wounds, and Bart walked away with only a single gunshot wound to his arm. At first, the authorities assumed it was a burglary gone wrong, but something about the crime scene didn't add up. The gunman had left the murder weapon behind, and there was no sign of stolen valuables. The house had been carefully staged, with drawers and closets neatly pulled open almost as if someone had wanted it to look like a burglary, but had been too careful not to cause real chaos. Then came the first major revelation: Bart had been lying to his family. He hadn't graduated from college at all. In reality, he was a freshman on academic probation with a 1.4 GPA. His so-called graduation celebration had been a sham. As the investigation continued, a former roommate of Bart's named Adam Hipp came forward with a shocking confession. 2 years earlier, Bart had tried to recruit Adam to help him kill his family. According to Adam, Bart's plan was to make it look like a burglary, have his family murdered, and then inherit their estate and insurance money over $1 million. He even wanted to be shot in the arm to make it seem like he was a victim. The detectives were stunned. Adam's description of the plot matched the crime scene almost exactly. With this new lead, the police turned their attention to two of Bart's college friends, Chris Brashear and Stephen Champagne. DNA testing placed them at the crime scene. Under intense interrogation, Stephen cracked. He admitted that he had been the getaway driver, Chris had been the gunman, and Bart had orchestrated the entire thing. Stephen even led police to a bag filled with incriminating evidence including two-way radios, water bottles, and ammunition matching the shell casings at the scene. As police prepared to arrest Bart, he suddenly vanished. 7 months after the murders, he told his father he was going out to a club and never came back. He had disappeared without a trace. For nearly 2 years, he remained on the run. The authorities searched everywhere, but he had managed to start a new life in Mexico. Under a false identity, he got a job at a furniture store, rented a small apartment, and even had a girlfriend. He told her family an elaborate lie claiming he was a former soldier who had been wounded while serving in Afghanistan. But in 2005, a man named Rudy Rios contacted police with a confession. Bart had paid him $3,000 to assume his identity and flee to Mexico. Shortly after, Bart was arrested and extradited back to Texas, where he was charged with capital murder. In court, it was revealed that this wasn't even Bart's first attempt. He had tried to carry out his twisted plan multiple times with different accomplices, but each time, something had gotten in the way. This time, however, he had succeeded in taking the lives of his mother and brother. Bart was sentenced to death, a punishment his father, Kent, vehemently opposed. Despite everything, Kent forgave his son and lobbied against his execution, arguing that losing Bart would make him a victim all over again. In a dramatic turn of events, just 40 minutes before Bart's scheduled execution in 2018, the governor of Texas commuted his sentence to life in prison without parole. As of 2025, Bart remains behind bars, where he will spend the rest of his life. His father, Kent, has since remarried and even wrote a book about his experience, titled Murder by Family: The Incredible True Story of a Son's Treachery and a Father's Forgiveness. Perhaps the most chilling detail of this case is that final family photo taken at dinner. In it, Bart is smiling with his mother and brother, fully aware that within half an hour, they would be dead. What drives someone to betray their own family so cruelly? Was it greed, sociopathy, or something even darker? A promising young woman vanishes without a trace on a dark, winding road. No struggle, no goodbye, just gone. But was she running from something or someone? This is the last known image of 21-year-old Maura Murray before she seemingly disappeared into thin air. What happened that night? And why, after 20 years, is her case still one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in America? The disappearance of Maura Murray, a case that will haunt you. It all started on February 9, 2004. Maura, a bright nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, was dealing with something so serious that she made a shocking decision. That afternoon, she emailed her professors, claiming there had been a death in the family and she needed time off. But here's the thing, no one in her family had died. Then, she withdrew $280 from an ATM, bought a suspicious amount of alcohol including Bailey's, Kahlua, and vodka before packing up her car and driving away from campus. Hours late, around 7:30 p.m., a small-town resident in Woodsville, New Hampshire, called 911 after spotting a black car crashed on a sharp turn near her house. The airbags had deployed. The windshield was cracked. But where was Maura? A school bus driver stopped and saw a young woman bruised but seemingly uninjured standing outside the wreck. When he offered to call the police, she insisted she already had. But here's where things get really creepy. Another witness, a local woman, claimed she saw a police car parked near the crash site at 7:37 p.m., almost 10 minutes before police say they officially arrived. Did someone get to Maura before the authorities did? When officers finally searched her abandoned car, they found spilled red wine all over the front seat, an empty beer bottle in the back, and Maura's wallet, phone, and credit cards missing. Did Maura run away, terrified of getting in trouble for drunk driving? Or was she taken before she could escape? Some believe Maura staged her disappearance to escape her troubled personal life. She had been caught using a stolen credit card just months before, crashed her dad's car just days before, and had been visibly distressed after a phone call with her sister. Maura was seen by one other witness walking along the road after the crash, but when police arrived minutes later, she was nowhere to be found. Did she accept a ride from the wrong person? Some internet sleuths point the finger at the very man who last saw her alive, the bus driver who stopped to offer help. Oddly enough, he moved out of state just months after Maura disappeared. Coincidence? Despite thousands of tips and searches, there has never been a confirmed sighting of Maura Murray since that night. Even more disturbing? Her phone and credit cards were never used again. It's as if she vanished into thin air. A tragic accident? A carefully planned escape? Or something far more sinister? It was supposed to be a night of celebration, a fresh start, a new year. But in just 1 second, everything changed. A single photograph captured the unthinkable proof of a murder in progress. This is the image that shocked the world and solved the murder. The shot that changed everything. The murder of Raldo Danga. New Year's Eve, 2010, Manila, Philippines. Philippines, the streets were alive with celebration. Families gathered, firecrackers lit up the night sky, and the countdown to midnight had begun. Among them was 35-year-old Councilman Raldo Danga, a man known for cracking down on gang crime in Manila. That night, he told his family, "Wake me up before midnight. I want to celebrate the new year with you all." Minutes before the clock hit 12, Raldo joined his wife, mother-in-law, and daughter outside to enjoy the festivities. Then, in a moment that should have been innocent and joyful, he did something completely normal. He pulled out his camera and captured his own murder. Raldo asked his family to pose next to their car for a photo. As he stepped back to snap the picture, a shadowy figure emerged from behind the car. A man in a baseball cap, silent, unnoticed. He raised his arm and fired. Flash effect as the picture is taken. The .45 caliber bullet tore through Raldo's chest, and within seconds, he collapsed to the ground. But here's the chilling part: the photo had been taken at the exact moment of the attack, capturing the killer in the act. The noise of the fireworks masked the gunshot. His family didn't even realize what had happened until they saw the blood spreading across his shirt. Rushed to the hospital, Raldo Danga was pronounced dead. But investigators already had the key to solving the crime thanks to the photo. Police immediately identified the shooter, Michael Gonzalez. And it didn't stop there. The man in the tank top, seen acting suspiciously in the background, was also arrested, later revealed to be Michael's lookout. But why would someone assassinate a local politician on New Year's Eve? Months earlier, Raldo had ordered the arrest of Michael and his gang for car theft. That night, they were out on bail and decided to take revenge before they were sent back to prison. But they didn't count on one thing: a single photo. A moment frozen in time, leading police straight to them. Justice was swift. Michael Gonzalez and his accomplices were caught within days, ensuring they never had a chance to hurt anyone else. What do you think about this case? Have you ever seen a crime caught so perfectly on camera? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking true crime stories.